The supercar world has seen expensive crashes, shocking rebuilds, and huge repair bills before. But what is happening right now with two famous YouTubers has become something much bigger than a normal car repair story. This situation is now turning into a major debate about whether luxury car companies really want independent owners fixing their own vehicles. On one side is Mark McCann, a creator known for buying wild vehicles and taking on risky projects. On the other side is Matt Armstrong, one of the most famous rebuild YouTubers in the world. Both men ended up facing almost the exact same problem after getting involved with one of the most legendary hypercars ever made, the Bugatti Veyron. And according to many people online, the real issue is not just the broken gearboxes. The real issue is how difficult it seems to get help outside the official dealer network. Mark McCann shocked viewers when he bought what many call the cheapest Bugatti Veyron in the world. Even though the car cost around £900,000, it came with a major problem hiding underneath the bodywork. The gearbox was damaged. For normal cars, gearbox repairs happen every day. Independent mechanics rebuild transmissions all the time. But the Bugatti Veyron is not a normal car. It is one of the most complicated road cars ever built. Its engineering is extremely advanced, and many of its systems were designed in ways that only a small number of specialists truly understand. That instantly made the project dangerous financially because even small issues on a Bugatti can cost more than entire luxury cars. At first, Mark believed the solution would be simple. Contact Bugatti, pay the repair bill, and get the car fixed properly. But according to stories shared online, things did not go that way at all. Months reportedly passed before proper responses came back. When answers finally arrived, Mark was allegedly told the gearbox could not simply be repaired. Instead, the entire unit would need replacing. The price shocked people across the automotive world. Estimates reportedly range between £200,000 and £300,000. That kind of number immediately made viewers remember another famous Bugatti situation involving Matt Armstrong. Matt had already gone through his own battle trying to repair a Bugatti Veyron after rebuilding one from crash damage. His experience created huge discussions online because viewers watched him struggle to get information, parts, and support during the rebuild process. So when Mark started facing similar issues, people instantly connected the two stories together. Suddenly, this was no longer just about one damaged gearbox. It became a bigger story about independent repairs, manufacturer control, and whether modern hypercars are becoming impossible to repair outside official systems. The internet quickly turned the situation into a battle between passionate creators and a giant luxury manufacturer protecting its technology. Comments flooded social media. Some people defended Bugatti, saying a car this advanced requires strict quality control for safety reasons. Others believed owners spending millions should have the freedom to repair their own vehicles however they choose. But no matter which side people supported, almost everyone agreed on one thing. Watching two major YouTubers struggle with the same company at the same time created incredible drama. And because both creators have millions of followers, the story exploded far beyond normal car communities. Suddenly, even casual viewers who knew nothing about transmissions or hypercars became interested in the growing conflict surrounding one of the world's most exclusive automotive brands. After Bugatti reportedly refused to repair the gearbox in the way Mark hoped, he decided to follow a path similar to the one Matt Armstrong had taken earlier. If official support was not available, then independent specialists would need to step in. This decision pushed the story into a completely different direction because it revealed just how difficult it can be to repair a hypercar without factory help. Mark eventually sent the gearbox to a respected transmission expert named Pascal in the Netherlands. The moment the gearbox was opened, the seriousness of the situation became clear. Inside, the clutch plates showed major heat damage. They were burnt and warped, which meant they were no longer sitting flat the way they should. That caused problems with the stack height inside the clutch assembly, and because the parts were no longer perfectly aligned, the gearbox could not operate properly. One of the biggest symptoms was that reverse gears stopped functioning correctly. For viewers watching the videos, this was fascinating because it showed how a tiny problem inside a gearbox could completely disable a car worth nearly £1 million. But things became even worse during the inspection. The team discovered evidence that the clutch system had apparently been replaced before. Yet despite the previous repair, the same failure happened again almost immediately afterward. That meant the original problem had likely never been solved properly. Investigators then found something extremely important hidden deep inside the system. Swarf, tiny pieces of metal debris trapped inside the cooling channels. These microscopic particles block the oil spray system, responsible for cooling the clutch assembly. Without enough cooling, temperatures inside the gearbox rise incredibly fast. According to the explanation shared during the rebuild process, the clutch can destroy itself in less than a minute if cooling fails completely. Suddenly, the repeated gearbox failures made sense. The contamination remained trapped inside the system, damaging each new clutch installation again and again. This discovery changed the entire repair process because now simply replacing parts would not solve anything. The whole system needed deep cleaning and careful rebuilding. That is when another major problem appeared. Since replacement components were difficult or impossible to obtain through normal channels, Pascal reportedly began reverse engineering parts manually. Custom clutch plates had to be manufactured from scratch. Custom gaskets and seals also needed to be produced independently. For many viewers, this became one of the most exciting parts of the story because it showed skilled engineers trying to solve problems without factory assistance. Instead of giving up, they were effectively rebuilding one of the world's most advanced gearboxes piece by piece. This gave the story an underdog feeling that audiences love. People enjoy watching talented individuals overcome huge obstacles using intelligence and persistence. At the same time, the process also highlighted how tightly controlled modern hypercars have become. In older generations of performance cars, mechanics often repaired vehicles freely using available parts and technical knowledge. But the Bugatti situation seemed completely different. Even highly experienced specialists were struggling to gain access to information, equipment, and components needed for the repair. That created a growing belief among viewers that independent repair culture might slowly disappear as modern vehicles become more computerized, specialized, and manufacturer-controlled. The Gearbox project, therefore, became more than entertainment. It became a symbol of a larger argument happening across the automotive industry. Many people began asking whether customers truly own their vehicles anymore if they cannot freely repair them outside approved dealer systems. Just when the gearbox rebuild seemed close to success, another massive obstacle appeared that completely changed the direction of the project again. After rebuilding the clutch system and replacing damaged parts, the team discovered that the new Bugatti clutch could not simply be installed directly back into the car. Before installation, the clutch needed to go through a special bedding-in process using highly specialized testing equipment. This process is extremely important because new clutch material releases tiny fibers during initial operation. If those particles enter the gearbox system too early, they can contaminate the oil channels and damage the gearbox again almost immediately. In other words, even after all the hard work rebuilding the transmission, one incorrect step could completely destroy everything and force the entire repair to start from zero again. According to the information discussed during the project, original Bugatti clutches are normally tested and flushed on specialized rigs built by Ricardo, the engineering company involved with the Veyron's gearbox systems. These rigs simulate operating conditions while safely removing harmful particles before the gearbox is installed into the vehicle. The shocking part was that one of these rigs reportedly existed only minutes away from Mark's location. The equipment already existed, was designed for this exact purpose, and could potentially solve the entire problem. Mark reportedly contacted Ricardo directly, explained the situation professionally, and offered to pay for access to the equipment. But according to the story shared online, Ricardo responded by saying all after-sales support had to go to Bugatti first. That immediately created another dead end because Mark had already struggled to get responses through official channels. This moment became one of the biggest turning points in the entire story because it made many viewers believe the system itself was designed to prevent independent repairs from happening. People online started comparing the situation directly to Matt Armstrong's earlier experiences. Again, viewers saw a creator willing to spend huge amounts of money to repair a car properly, yet still struggling to gain access to the tools and support required to complete the job. Discussions exploded across YouTube comment sections and automotive forums. Some viewers accused Bugatti of protecting its dealer network and controlling repairs too aggressively. Others argued the company had legitimate concerns about safety and liability. After all, the Veyron is an incredibly powerful hypercar capable of extreme speeds. Any mechanical failure at those speeds could become catastrophic. From Bugatti's perspective, strict control over repairs might help prevent accidents and protect the company's reputation. But from the perspective of many enthusiasts, the situation looked frustrating and unfair. If owners are willing to pay qualified specialists, why should access to repair equipment remain restricted? This question became the heart of the controversy. As frustration grew, Mark reportedly began searching across Europe for alternative solutions. Unfortunately, the quotes for creating a custom testing rig were almost unbelievable. Estimates reportedly range from £300,000 to over £500,000 just to build a one-off compatible system. At that point, the repair costs were becoming so extreme that even Mark joked it might have been cheaper to simply buy a fully functioning Veyron from the start. Yet, despite the setbacks, the project continued moving forward. And the longer the struggle lasted, the more viewers became emotionally invested in the outcome. The audience was no longer just watching a car repair. They were watching a fight between determination and limitation, between independent problem solving and corporate control. That emotional conflict kept viewers returning to every update, hoping someone would finally break the barriers surrounding the Bugatti gearbox mystery as the search for solutions continued. One of the most unexpected chapters in the story suddenly appeared from an entirely different industry. Mark eventually visited JCB, the famous company best known for building diggers and heavy machinery. At first, many viewers were confused. What could a construction equipment manufacturer possibly have to do with a Bugatti Veyron gearbox? But the answer turned out to be surprisingly interesting. JCB works extensively with advanced hydraulic systems, filtration technology, and engineering processes involving extremely high precision. Some of their systems also connect to projects involving Ricardo, the same engineering company linked to the Bugatti gearbox setup. During the visit, JCB engineers reportedly showed Mark their advanced cleaning and testing procedures. The level of cleanliness required for high-performance hydraulic systems was incredible. Tiny particles smaller than the thickness of human hair are treated as serious contamination risks. Every component goes through ultrasonic cleaning. Every oil channel gets flushed carefully. Every gearbox system undergoes pressure testing before operation begins. For viewers, this section of the story was eye-opening because it revealed how sensitive the Veyron gearbox truly is. Many people previously assumed the gearbox issue was simply a mechanical failure, but the deeper the investigation went, the clearer it became that even microscopic contamination could create massive destruction inside the system. The engineering tolerances were unbelievably precise. Watching Mark learn about these industrial cleaning methods also helped viewers understand why previous repairs may have failed. Even a tiny amount of leftover contamination inside the gearbox could quickly destroy new components after installation. Naturally, this raised another important question. Could JCB systems somehow help test the Bugatti gearbox? Could their hydraulic equipment replace the missing Bugatti-compatible rig? For a moment, viewers became hopeful. It seemed possible that a creative engineering solution might finally solve the problem outside the official dealer network. Unfortunately, reality once again became disappointing. Despite similarities in hydraulic technology, the systems were not compatible. The electronics, software controls, oil specifications, and operating systems were entirely different. JCB reportedly wanted to help, but physically could not adapt their equipment to operate the Bugatti gearbox correctly. This created another frustrating dead end in the project. The gearbox itself was now rebuilt. The clutch components were ready. The system had been cleaned carefully, but without proper testing and bedding-in procedures, installing everything back into the car could risk immediate failure again. The situation became almost painful for viewers because the solution seemed so close yet still impossible to reach. Many people online began describing the story as one of the most interesting automotive repair sagas ever documented on YouTube. Part of that interest came from the emotional connection audiences built with the creators involved. Both Mark McCann and Matt Armstrong developed reputations for taking on impossible automotive projects. They are not traditional car reviewers, simply driving expensive vehicles for entertainment. Their channels focus heavily on rebuilding, repairing, and understanding machines that most people would never dare touch. That makes audiences respect the effort involved. When viewers watch someone spend months trying to solve incredibly difficult engineering problems, they naturally begin supporting the journey emotionally. This is one reason the Bugatti story became so powerful online. People did not just care about the car itself. They cared about whether determined individuals could overcome systems designed around exclusivity and restriction. At the same time, the story also revealed how modern hypercars may become increasingly dependent on manufacturer-controlled ecosystems. As vehicles grow more advanced electronically and mechanically, independent specialists may struggle more and more to gain access to essential equipment and software. That possibility worries many automotive enthusiasts because car culture has always been strongly connected to modification, customization, and independent repairs. The idea that future supercars could become impossible to repair outside official channels creates fears about the future of automotive freedom itself. One of the biggest reasons this entire story exploded online is because it touches something much larger than just one broken hypercar. The situation involving Mark McCann and Matt Armstrong connects directly to a growing worldwide debate known as the right to repair. This debate affects not only cars, but also phones, computers, tractors, farming equipment, and many other modern technologies. More companies are using software locks, restricted tools, proprietary systems, and controlled repair networks that make independent repairs extremely difficult. Supporters of the right to repair movement believe customers should fully own products after purchasing them. They argue that if someone spends huge amounts of money buying a vehicle, they should also have the freedom to repair it wherever